Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Force here, continuing the Game of the Week coverage of The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing. Today I want to show you guys the Secret Lair. This is the base of operations come the second act in the game. There's a few different things that you can do here. It essentially acts as your main town, your central quest hub, and where you do your crafting and essence enhancing and all of that. So I wanted to show you around the Secret Lair. I also wanted to show you some of the advanced crafting techniques that weren't available the last time we looked at crafting in this game. Plus, there's this whole sort of base defense element, although it's something that I feel like they could have done more with. It's neat to see that it's still in the game, so I'd like to show you that as well. So let's start off with just me showing you around the Secret Lair. Bringing up the map here, you're going to notice all of the important things over here, such as the laboratory, the artifact forge, the ability to respec, and vendors as well as storage. This is all in this part of the layer. This southwestern part of the layer, this is all where the base defense comes in, where you set traps and you have to defend against invading waves of enemies. So starting off just by sort of showing you around here, up in this corner, this is the storage, and you've got this neat little box that sort of pops up out of the ground that I really kind of think that's pretty neat. I've stored a bunch of items over here for the sake of crafting in the future. I also have a bunch here in my inventory because I'd like to show you some of the advanced crafting techniques. This guy right here, he is sort of your main quest person. He's been giving me the main quest for the base storyline, which I'm actually almost complete this game right now, so you'll be getting my final thoughts sometime pretty soon. Just got a normal vendor right over here. Right up over here, this is the laboratory. This is where you do your item enhancing with essences. And then down over here in this lower right wing, we have got a few things. We've got the ability to do respecking. So this character right here, he actually resets ability points and skill points. And basically what you do is you do them one at a time. So for example, if I click on reset skill points, I can subtract individual skills at the cost of 1,000 gold per and then put them elsewhere. Now I'm pretty happy with my skill setup at the moment, so I won't be doing that. So we're just gonna hit cancel, but yeah, that is something that you can do. And just so you guys can see the build that I've been playing as, I've been going primarily melee focused here, and just sticking to this one Mystic Warrior tree. The only exception to that is for the tricks and auras. I've put points into lifesteal. I've also got this little run thing that allows me to do damage as I run through targets, and the time slow. So those are the abilities that I've focused on leveling up here with my character. Same thing goes for resetting ability points. You do them on an individual point basis. Now you can see here I've literally put every single ability point into body, which increases my melee damage as well as my hit points and defense. Given the character that I'm playing, I thought, hey, this makes the most sense. But again, you can individually, say I were to put points into willpower and I said later on I don't want to do that, I could individually subtract those and then put them elsewhere at the cost of 500 per point. We're going to cancel though because I don't want to do that. And then we also have, I didn't show this to you last time we looked at the essences for item enhancement, but there is also an enchanting ability. So you can enchant items. This was available in the game's first act, which just so you know, I'm in the second act of the game. I think there's only two, maybe there's 3 acts, but I believe there's only 2 because I'm pretty sure I'm almost done the game and we're still just in the second act. And once you go to the second act, you can never go back to the first act. In fact, it tells you when you leave the first act that that's it. You can't go back. There's no way. You can't take the ink gates, which are basically teleportation way shrines, if you will. You can't take them back to the first act. It's a completely separate thing. Kind of bums me out a little bit, but this game functions much differently than most action RPGs in the sense that you can't bounce between the acts, and there's also no monster respawns or really replayability after you finish the game once, unless you go into multiplayer games, that is. But there is item enchanting, and what we can do over here is I can just show you. It's a pretty simple process. You just drag an item here, you cost X amount of gold, you click enchant, and you can only have so many enchants on items. This one's 1 of 1 here. And so I got 8 body. That's great for me because plus body, that's the stat that I primarily focus on. So that's the one that I put every single point in. So we're actually absolutely going to keep that. You could disenchant and try re-enchanting. Since I've got plenty of gold, why don't we do that? So I'm going to disenchant, re-enchant it again. What did I get? I got 9 spell power. No thank you. Let's do that a couple more times. Essence capacity. Well, that means I could enchant that, but I'm going to try to get body again. Increased attack speed. I'm just going to keep doing this. Just burning through gold when I got the perfect enchant for the first one. All right, this one heals me for 4. Nah, that's not good. I want another one. 25 mana, no. Come on, give me something good that I really want. 7 rage, not really. I'm just burning through my gold. All right, increase attack speed, whatever. I think I had one of those prior, but we'll just stick with it this time. So it's a pretty simple enchanting system. You don't have much agency in terms of what you can do. And it's just a randomized element, unfortunately enough, but that's the way it works here in this game. Got another vendor over here as well, and I've never really found that now this is a gambling vendor, so you could sort of, you know, potentially get something really good. So why don't we give it a shot? We got a two-handed sword here, so I'm gonna grab this for 10,000. You're not gonna let me grab it because put it in Katarina's inventory, please. Thank you. Okay, so we grab that. Let's take a look at if it's any good. We will. Wait a second. It is it better? Really? No, it's talking about that one. Okay. I was gonna say it's better than the one that Katarina has. Is it better than the one that I have? No, it's not. So as you can see, once it got put in my inventory, its stats went on it. Not really something that I care for. It's much less DPS than the sword that I currently have. It's better DPS than the one that Katarina has, but Katarina does no attacking, at least the way I have her set up. Another store over here. You can pick up some rare and epic items. But I mean, that's more protection, but I'm not interested in that either. Okay, so those are some of the vendors. The next thing I'd like to show you is the advancements that we see to item crafting in the Artifact Forge, which is a little bit more than what I had initially showed you when I did that specific forging video. So this right here, this is the generator. This is what powers your secret lair, and this is what also allows you to set up the traps, which we'll be looking at the end of this video. But first, I'd like to show you here. So we have got well, let's go to, let's just go straight to the Artifact Forge. So I've upgraded the Artifact Forge through the generator. Last time we looked at the Artifact Forge, you were to put 3 items of the same rarity in here, and you would get a random item of that rarity down there. The advancements we've got now is that we can select the exact item type that will be by placing a 4th item in, and by placing a 5th item in, we can decide how many enchantment slots that it gets. So the type of item that I want is a two-handed sword. So I'm going to take a rare two-handed sword and put it here. And then we just need to put 3 random rare items, and okay, we just need to put 3 random rare items into those 3 slots. I'm going to try to do ones with low enchants because the one with high enchants I want to put here. And then we'll take one, this one for example has 5 enchants. So this item with 5 enchants we're going to place here, and now what will happen is we are going to get a rare two-handed sword with 5 enchants. What those enchants are, how good the sword is, we don't know. Let's find out. We'll click Forge. We have got a level 29 sword. It's 98 DPS above the one that I have. It's got more HP and 19 protection as well. That's a pretty good sword. Now, I believe I've got better ones. In fact, I'm positive that I have a better one in my inventory. Am I that positive? Am I that positive? Shoot, I'm not that positive. Let me quickly go check. I need to find this out, because if I don't, then I don't want to replace that. So let's take a look at the one that I have saved up for later on. So I've got one that's, okay, so this one is better. I can get it at 28. It's 101 extra DPS. I guess this one has more HP, but this one is, well, why don't we just get rid of, that's a level 28 with 79 DPS, and this is level 29 with 98 DPS. Well, the 20, yeah, we're just gonna go with that 28. So why don't I get rid of, this is only 79. It's a tough call. That's an extra level later. That's okay. Well, you know what? Fine. We'll just replace that because this is more DPS, and that's probably the one that I'll end up taking anyways. Now, that's probably a better sword, isn't it? But it's a later level too. Oh, this is so hard. I'll just replace that. That's fine. In fact, no, I'll just replace this. This is a crappy two-handed sword. So we're going to hold on to this. I love all this internal debating I'm doing. You guys are like, Force, we don't care. I just want you to show us where you came here to show us. Oh, and this guy right here, he can also reset Katarina's abilities if you don't like how you set those up as well. Okay, so now that we've got all that internal arguing out of the way, we're going to go ahead and do this. So we're going to replace this two-handed sword. And what we're going to do is we're going to put some more rare items up at the top. So ones with lesser enchants, ideally. And then the number of enchants, we want the highest possible. So let's try to find one with, there's one with 5 enchants. So we'll put that there. So now we're going to get a two-handed sword with 5 enchants that's rare. What is it? Wow. Okay, well, I can use this, and it's an increased DPS to the one that I have right now. I guess the one that I have right now, though, is a is a one-handed sword, but nevertheless, I just got an increase. So there you go. I don't need to show you any more than that. I think you've got a good idea. It's a much more, it's a system that allows you to tailor the items that you want to your specifications at least a little bit more. You don't have a ton of control over it, but you can decide what type of weapon and how many enchants. You do end up having to throw away a lot of items, but you get a lot of rare items. I've been consistently throwing away rare items, and there's also legendary items in the game as well. So that is the advanced crafting. Now let me show you the base defense system. So the way this works is I had gotten a quest that had these invading enemies coming into the base that I had to defend. Now this isn't a periodic thing, but during a quest, I had to defend against invading enemies that were coming through these little portals right here. Now, if I go into the place trap section, you're going to notice here, this is that lower half of the map. Can I pull up the map here as well? No. So this lower half right here, it's the same as what you're going to see when we're placing the traps. So you've got a bunch of different traps. You can research them here at the generator, and the way you place these traps is you've got a generator capacity. So you can see I only have done 30 out of 110 of my generator capacity. And besides the traps taking up capacity, they also cost machine parts, and machine parts are just these items that you find off of machine enemies during the second act of the game. So there's a whole bunch of them. We've got a grinder there. We've got this electric thing, electric floor. We've got a flamethrower, a grinding pit, a spring trap, monster in a box where a werewolf comes out of a box. We've also got spikes in the floor that we can place. So a whole bunch of different types of traps, and we can just basically put them wherever we want during that quest that I already participated in, which I'll show you some footage of that here. During that quest, they said, hey, there's invading enemies coming. We need you to set up some traps and defend against them. And what happened is they just came in 3 waves, ever increasing in terms of the difficulty. They just came in 3 waves, and I had to defend against these monsters that came through. Now, the thing that I'm kind of bugged by is that this was a one-time thing. Now, upon looking at the forums, it looks like it happens at least one more time. There's a quest that's like defend your base again, and so it looks like it's gonna happen one more time, but this would have been really cool if they made it this periodic event where, say, while you're playing every 30 minutes or something, monsters come, or even if it's not at set intervals while you're playing, if they just randomly said your base is being invaded, and then you had to teleport back home, take your town portal back home, and then defend your base against invading enemies. But it doesn't appear to be the case. It looks like it's only during quest. In fact, there's no sense of urgency to it at all, because the quest, I get to pick when the invasion happened. Basically, I got to decide when I was ready, and then I went up to the quest giver and said, okay, I'm ready for the invasion, and then the monsters came. Like, what? It doesn't even really make much sense. So I like the concept that they've taken this action RPG and that they've added this base defense element, but I wish it was more than just a couple of quests that you get to decide when it happens. I wish it was more of a pressing issue. I think that would have been a lot cooler if they made it this event that just sort of randomly happened and you had to respond to it and head back to defend your base. Otherwise, it got ransacked and you couldn't use it, for example. I think that would have been really, really neat had they done it that way, but that isn't how they decided to do it, and they've just made it part of this quest that just happens. So, I don't know. Not exactly. I think it just could have been, it's still neat, but I think it could have been a lot cooler if they had done it that way instead. But anyways, that's just my opinion on the matter. And that is pretty much it. That's everything that I have to show you here in the Secret Lair. A couple more things you can do here at the forge besides placing the traps. This is where you also research the traps. I've researched all the ones I'm capable of learning. And this is also where you can get generator improvements to increase the capacity. You can get generator improvements to increase your artifact forging. There's one more that I still have to get to for that, and you can also increase your essing enhancement. This is going to decrease actually the cost of essences, of essence transactions. And the final thing that I have for forging is I can make forge items and their enchantments more powerful, but I haven't progressed in the story yet to get that specific thing. And all of these upgrades also take up some of that generator capacity, which was also used for setting traps. But that is the Secret Lair here in The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing. You know, I've managed to get past the problems that I had with this game in terms of it just not working. I think it's still got some issues. The combat has become very repetitive because I'm only really using a couple of spells in the fights, and I've been playing this game for now over 8 hours, so it's starting to get a little monotonous. But I'm still enjoying the game because I really love the atmosphere, I love the music, I love the setting of this game, and there's some, you know, funny dialogue every now and then. Unfortunately, the combat just does fall a little flat, but we'll be covering all that stuff in my final impressions video, which will probably be the next one in this Game of the Week series, because I am nearly done the game. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay tuned for the final impressions of Van Helsing. If you like the content, please subscribe, and as always, keep watching and keep owning.
Where are the bones, handsome? Admit it, Hunter. It's not that easy.